Be careful with people that do not have the results that you're after. I wish I could go back in time and tell my younger self this message. And even now, I feel like I need this reminder because we can forget. So what do I mean by this? When we are having aspirations about what we want to do with our lives, we will be inclined to share it with everybody else around us. It's only natural. We're social creatures. But the unfortunate thing is that people are only going to speak from their set of knowledge. And unfortunately, a huge pattern that people have is that they'll speak on things that they know absolutely nothing about. And even when someone speaks on things, they won't preface it with saying, okay, take it with a grain of salt because I don't have the results that you're after. People will just say their whole opinion without even really having a full awareness around that their opinion might actually be absolute shit. Or their wisdom or their mentorship or whatever. It's really interesting. And a lot of times too, it's unintentional. They don't want to mess you up in life. They just don't know any better. Have you noticed this in certain times when you wanted to do X thing or Y thing and people will discourage you from something, or they'll say it's too difficult, or they'll say, there's no way that you could do it, or they'll say something about you, about your character, or something that you just don't want to hear. That's not even something that you even need to hear. It's not really helpful. It's not constructive. It's just a bunch of hogwash, a bunch of horse shit. What I want you to notice is that when you're asking advice from people or you're getting people's feedback or people just tell you things of what they think about you and about your path that you're on, you have to then couch that under the context of what results have they actually created. Because if they haven't really created the results that you're after, then that will shrink the authority that it should take in your mind. Notice this, that one should not let something such as, you shouldn't be taking someone's advice to the T if you want to start a business, if this person that's giving you that advice has never even started a business before, or hasn't even studied the first thing about business, or with whatever endeavor it is. You can create the examples for yourself. I want you to be extremely careful with whatever you choose to do, where you choose to get your feedback from. Because the most dangerous thing is that you can get swayed off your path from someone that doesn't even know what the fuck they're talking about. And likewise, this should make you think, I should ask people that have created the results that I'm after. They will have the most wisdom around this stuff. And better yet, have created the results that I'm after that have come from a similar place of set of circumstances that I am in right now. That's another thing where a lot of people can create. You can look for advice from people that have created the results that you're after, and that's really good. But on top of that, maybe it was a lot easier for them to create results because they've also done X, Y, Z, and they've made that momentum. Or the stars aligned perfectly for them. Whereas for you, it's a whole different ball of wax, and you need to take that into account. Or take someone that has done something similar, but it has a much more aligned state of circumstances that you have. Too many people are too quick to share their opinion on something they know fuck all about, And you'll notice that humble people that have actually tried to do stuff will catch themselves trying to give someone else's opinion, and they'll preface it like, well, here's based on my experiences, and take it with a grain of salt because I don't have the results that you're after. And it can suck because this can come from, your siblings, your parents, your best friends that think they know better, or that they think they know enough to give you actually valuable input. But it could turn out that the valuable input is actually dog shit because they don't have the experience that you are after, that the experience that you are going to acquire, the experience that you're going to achieve. They don't have what you're looking for. All they have is they know you from their lens. That's another thing too. People will speak on things based on how they know you. And maybe a large part is very true based on what they see and what the actions are. However, they don't understand what's going on in your mind. If you're really inspired to do something, to really make it work, people don't really know how to cultivate that flame within you, to cultivate that excitement, to really hone that flame, something that you're really thinking about. A lot of times people will squish out a flame before it can turn into something beautiful. Sometimes we'll get inspired, like, oh, I want to do video editing, and they get squished out. It's like, oh, well, that market's too saturated, or blah, 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 this, or blah, 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 or whatever, because they know fuck all about the field. They know fuck all about the application. And you can get your mind squished when really, like, if that was nurtured, then you can, then that could have turned into something. Maybe it wasn't video editing, but it was something related or whatever, right? Notice when people are squishers of your ideas. That's huge. Like, if people are they going to nurture your ideas, or are they going to extinguish your ideas? That's extremely important to identify in all the relationships that you have in your life. Every single one. Your mentors, your teachers, your friends, especially your friends, and especially your family members. A lot of times we will put our family members' opinion way higher above our friends and even our mentors that actually have the results that we're after because we love them. But the thing is that when it comes to having 20/20 vision and really understanding the results and to actually have good advice, you have to really pull that, authority in your mind back down and really realize that, okay, have they actually created the results that they're after? And sometimes I can say some shit that hurts, and then you can, but if you can recontextualize it in a sense where it's like, okay, well, they're only speaking from their net of experience. Yeah, no wonder they're saying those things. That's the only thing they know. Whereas if they had the whole network of knowledge that I have, they wouldn't be saying that. And I want you to notice that with anything, with anyone trying to give you advice on anything. People are only operating from their own relative network of knowledge. And so a lot of the times we are speaking from ignorance. And this is a habit that humans have picked up because no one likes to think critically through absolutely everything. That's a lot of work. No one does that. So what do? They just lean onto the constructs of society indoctrinating into them with all these ideas, and they don't think twice about it. They're basically 99% of people's knowledge set is based on hearsay. It's based on who said this person said this, so I believe it. It's not actually based on personal investigation. It's not based on critical evidence that you have come up with from yourself through your own direct experiences. Even if it's evidences like science and whatnot, a lot of people will just take, scientific study said this, and they'll just believe it because it's under the belief system, and yes, I am saying belief system, of science, right? Or the belief system of religion, or belief system of whatever else, without actually questioning and going through the actual experiences for themselves. And then that's when you'll have like a whole belief systems being created around with a bunch of scientifically studied back things, and then 100 years later, it gets all completely disproven. And it's pretty remarkable. On a side note there, pretty sure like 99% of like all scientific discoveries have been disproven like the last 100 years, or been corrected or trajectory corrected. Like, it's really interesting. Things that we think that are absolutely true, there's actually, oh wait, no, it's actually not that way. It's more nuanced than that. They're like almost half truths, or a lot of it's not even true at all. But yet we'll base our whole belief systems off of something some other authority has said, or we'll base our belief systems off of what we have seen. We will not open our minds to the possibility that, hey, maybe there's something else to this here. Tell me more about it. Why do you want to do this? Why does this interest you? That's a whole different person. That's person like, well, why do you desire that? Like, are you aware of what reality actually is? Right? And here's what I'm thinking. Here's my experiences. That conscious conversation does not fucking happen. And I want you to notice that, such that you don't get duped, you don't get discouraged away from chasing what you actually want out of your life. You don't get discouraged from really finding who you are and chasing your passions because some dumbass said something that they know fuck all about. And the hardest part to accept is that this can come from the people that are closest to us. And to be able to lean into accepting that and to take our authority back on our own truth. Because our own truth is based on what we know, and not to base it on like, well, he knows more. It's like, no. Everything that we know and other people know is on the chopping block. And sometimes it can be hard to catch yourself. Like, oh, I caught myself believing my friend or my brother or my father or my mentor that doesn't know shit, or this random person that doesn't know shit, that gave me an opinion about something that made me feel a different way. It's really interesting to notice that when that happens, because it's like, oh, wow, like, I let my mind go for a whirl. I let my mind go through all these stages of grief or whatever, because I believed what they said, or I took what they said with like a brick, not with a grain of salt, because I thought that they knew what they were talking about, or I thought I was basing their opinion as if they have the results that I have, and they know the landscape of my field that I'm going into. So to wrap this up, I want to remind you that when it comes to all the opinions of other people, you need to remember that you have to always have in the back of your mind, what results do they have? And what does that say about what they should have an expertise on and what they should know? And what are they completely talking out of their ass about? And that should give you a lot more clarity on what to take as a grain of salt and what to take as a brick. So with that, hopefully you enjoyed this one. And I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next one.